So, episode 6 of Frasier has dropped, entitled Blind Date, so, I don't know, you want to talk about it? Episode 6, right off the bat, impressed me much like episode 5 last week. The writing seems to be back to the familiar territory of the witty writing from the original series. Now let's get the subplot out of the way. Alan and Olivia are invited by Eve to one of her shitty plays and they reluctantly go. She essentially says, look, I wouldn't put Frasier and Freddie through that, so you two are going to come to my murder mystery show. And they oblige. And we don't really catch up with them until near the end of the episode. And again, just like all the other subplots in this series so far, it just falls flat on its face. But the main storyline revolves around Eve not only inviting Alan and Olivia to her shitty play, but setting Frasier and Freddie up on blind dates. What could possibly go wrong? We then cut to Frasier cooking dinner, getting ready when June arrives. But who is she there for? Freddie then arrives home thinking that June is there for him. Now, firstly, this episode is drawing massive inspiration from the episode 4 for the Seesaw, when Frasier and Niles take two women to a lodge, and the mixed signals as to whether the ladies are interested in them is absolute comedy gold. The other episode Blind Date is based off is entitled The Ski Lodge, where Niles, Frasier, Daphne, Daphne's friend, and a ski instructor named Guy all are entangled in a love triangle. Angled. Again, the back and forth between Frasier and Freddie in this particular episode, I'm not New Zealand. The back and forth between Frasier and Freddie in this particular episode is brilliant. I feel like their chemistry is the strongest it has ever been in this series so far. It essentially becomes a competition between the two men fighting over June, fighting for her affection. And at one point, June is talking to Freddie about beer and baseball, and then when she turns to Frasier and talks to him, she's talking about philosophy, all that jazz, and it just gets the two men absolutely and utterly confused. Again, honing back to Fall for the Seesaw in terms of Niles and Frasier trying to read the signals of whether the women are interested in them, and then also the ski lodge as to whether who's interested in who. And there's also a nice bit of choreography going on when Freddie comes out of the kitchen, Frasier comes out, they just miss each other. June is asking for a glass of water, she gets 2 glasses of water, 1 sparkling. And when it all seems like too much, we hear June say on the phone to her friend that she was actually there for Freddie the entire time, but now has a thing for Frasier. There's a knock at the door and it's Frasier's actual blind date, Saban. Frasier panics and at one point even asks Freddie to act as a personal chef so he can go back and forth to separate rooms to have 2 dates. Oh, classic Frasier. It eventually ends with June and Saban storming off to go get a drink, leaving the boys single and desperate once again. Now, did you notice there is a character missing from this particular episode? David is non-existent and I am totally okay with that. I like David at the beginning of this series, but episode 5 he really annoyed me, and that's not a dig at the actor, just the writing for him in that particular episode really gave me the shits, and I just found him very annoying, and not subtly annoying like he was in the previous episodes. My overall final thoughts, I really dug this episode like episode 5. It had strong comedy gold, it had strong writing there, especially with the banter back and forth between Freddie and Frasier, the mixed signals as to whether June is interested in Freddie or Frasier, and then obviously the bamboozling at the end, with Frasier desperately trying to win the affection of 2 women at once, and Freddie's essentially just like, Dad, drop the fucking act. So at this point, episode 5 and 6 are definitely my favorites of the series so far. We've got 4 episodes to go. We'll see what they entail. Love you guts, and I'll catch you in the next one.